If you've been wanting to know how to act more feminine but without it feeling fake, this video is for you. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Juliana. This video is all about how to embody a more feminine persona and really step into a more feminine energy, even if you're not someone who identifies as being girly. No matter our gender, we each possess both feminine and masculine energy, but based on things like our personality, our culture, or our environment, a lot of us have grown up with one type being more dominant. Traits that are feminine are going to be very nurturing and warm. Our feminine energy is the basis for our creativity. When we're tapped into a more feminine energy, we're receptive and open to new ideas. We let new opportunities and people flow to us. Someone who's very feminine values the beauty in things, being in the moment, and experiencing pleasure. Now, masculine traits do tend to be the opposite. They're very action-driven and logical. It's often associated with leadership and assertiveness, and with masculine energy, we produce structure and dependability. Masculine energy tends to put more focus on taking action rather than relying on others. So if you have a lot of masculine energy, you tend to push through obstacles and really drive forward change. Again, no matter your actual gender, each person will have both sides in them. But it's damaging to only have one kind because then we become very extreme and kind of unbalanced. I think this is especially the case in modern society, especially with hustle culture. Only masculine energy is prized and feminine traits can be seen as weaker or kind of accessory. But only having masculine energy can make us go into this survival mode. The assertiveness that often comes with masculine energy can kind of turn into aggressiveness. And if we only rely on our masculine energy and we try and force everything in our life, we can soon find ourselves feeling very blocked and stagnant, even if it feels like we're working really hard. Feminine energy is all about receiving. So by tapping into this feminine energy, it becomes way easier to draw in new opportunities and people. Acting feminine makes us magnetic. Instead of chasing things, we attract. So let's talk about some of the mental and physical shifts you can do to really tap into this feminine energy. The most obvious way is to dress more conventionally feminine, but that's honestly just a more superficial view of femininity. If things that are very bubbly and pink are naturally not your style, you won't actually feel more feminine by wearing them. It'll just feel kind of fake and cartoonish. While how you look definitely does make an impact, we need to embody feminine traits from the inside out. And you can start this with your communication style. Try speaking in a softer, more melodic tone. You don't have to have a sing-song voice. I'm gonna speak in two different tones and you tell me which one sounds more feminine. So if I talk like this and my normal voice is like this versus my actual voice, which is a lot more soft-spoken, there's just a huge shift in how I come across. You want to speak as if you were talking to someone you really care about and are fond of. So practice speaking in a softer, caring tone. I do want to say you don't have to pitch your voice up in order to be feminine. I know baby voices can sound very feminine, especially to men, but hopefully we're not becoming more feminine just to impress a guy. And speaking in a high tone can make you sound kind of shrill and panicked. So I'd recommend speaking in your natural voice. Just soften your tone and speak with intention. Now, I also do want to note that this soft-spoken habit, if you need to speak to a large group of people, say you're speaking in front of a classroom or you're in a business meeting, these are potentially scenarios where you speak with more of your chest. If anything, you can kind of deepen your voice and project more. But when you are speaking face-to-face with someone, there's no need to yell. Speaking in a relaxed and soft-spoken tone, this will make you seem graceful and elegant, since it shows that you don't have to yell to get your message across. There's overall a more relaxed nature, since again, feminine energy is all about receiving rather than pursuing. So we want to build this idea that we don't have to pursue anything. We don't need to rush and others will come to us. Another way you can do this with your body language is to have controlled movements. So think smooth and intentional hand movements. You also always want to be polite when you speak with others. Always say please and thank you and do it with eye contact. I mean, this is kind of common decency, but I don't know, nowadays maybe it's not. I think most people do tend to have good manners, but if someone's in a rush and they're flustered, there becomes two types of people: those that still say it and those that feel that they're too busy. So we want to make sure that we're in the first camp and that we're always polite. Another thing is, I think we tend to stop being polite once someone becomes familiar to us. I'm very lucky that my family and I are super close-knit, but I do know that some people with their family, since they're family and they know each other, they can kind of act quite rudely because they're familiar. This also can happen with coworkers or classmates, or also some spouses do this to each other, but we don't want to do that. We always want to remain polite no matter how familiar someone gets to us. I think these small acknowledgements of gratitude or appreciation really go far, and always doing them with eye contact, you'll come across as very warm and makes what you say much more powerful. This is another key pillar to femininity. A person is very charismatic when they really care about whoever they're speaking with, even if it's a brief interaction with someone you don't know well. So things like eye contact as well as smiling, these small basic things make a huge difference. Practice smiling and showing enthusiasm as often as it's appropriate. Smiling is definitely a huge reflection of how open we are as a person. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of this thing called the urban scowl. It's essentially an unfriendly facial expression that tends to be common in cities, whether consciously or unconsciously formed. It's a way to tell others to back off and not engage. In a way, it's a protective mechanism and a way of closing yourself off to others. Even if you don't live in a city, if maybe in the past you've been really hurt by someone, you might have developed some version of this urban scowl unconsciously. And if being feminine means being more open, we need to actively choose more open expressions like smiling when we speak with others. Going back to this idea of being magnetic, smiling and being open with others will naturally make them feel attracted to you since they feel like they're receiving something positive when they interact with you. Like attracts like. So by pairing an attentive attitude with open body language, this will make you seem charismatic and boost your femininity. You want to actively think of exuding warm energy. It doesn't have to be over the top, but it will make a difference in your unconscious micro expressions. We don't tend to be that aware of this with ourselves, but we can easily pick up on the micro expressions of others. Like if you're talking to someone and you know they're upset, even if they haven't said anything, or if you know that person has something they want to tell you, you can often tell just by their body language and expressions. Our intention, even if it's not expressed verbally, is always revealed through our nonverbal body language. So even though it can sound silly sometimes, actively think of being the warmest and most open version of yourself. Other people will feel it even if you don't say anything different. Now, like I said, your physical appearance does play a role in how feminine you come across. I want to make more upcoming videos on feminine style since I think it's more than I can fit into this video, but I do want to share some key points. The overarching idea for your clothing is that you want to choose form-fitting styles that flatter your best features. You want to avoid styles that are ultra baggy, and not only just baggy, you want to avoid shapeless clothing. Same goes for kind of boxy styles, so boxy t-shirts, blazers, jackets. These tend to be more masculine, which I mean there's nothing wrong with, and I wear a lot of blazers myself, but if we're talking feminine or not feminine, these styles do tend to be less feminine. So going back to the idea of flattering. The term flattering can be kind of confusing because it's very subjective. What flatters one person won't necessarily apply to another person, but there are a few golden rules that you can use to start to figure out what flatters you. You want the colors that you wear to match your personality and your complexion. Same goes for your clothing, hair, and makeup. Your clothing style should complement your body type, and your makeup and hair should complement your face shape and facial features. Like I said, it's super specific to each person, which is why I do want to mention my personal styling services. I do offer services to find your unique colors and styles. I do these analyses completely online, which is so great because I've been able to have clients all over the world. I've had a lot of clients from Australia for some reason, which is so cool, as well as the UK and Canada. And yeah, you can book at any time. It's really flexible. Essentially, all you do is book the analysis. After booking, you complete a quick questionnaire, which asks about where you are currently with your style and what are your style goals. And it's also where you submit the pictures for me to actually analyze. From there, I create this PDF booklet that details your best styles and colors. I like to call it your personal style cheat sheet. Currently, I offer a color analysis, a body type analysis, and a features analysis. The features analysis is basically your best makeup and hairstyles for your face shape and your facial features. If any of this interests you, definitely check it out. I'll leave the link to book in my description. Going back to this idea of finding your most flattering colors, conventionally feminine colors are mainly pink and red, but I actually think you can look feminine in any color as long as it flatters you. And these quote-unquote feminine colors, if you feel weird wearing pink, or if it doesn't actually match your complexion, it can kind of work against your look. For example, light pink may be a feminine color, but if you have a really warm or olive skin tone, you might suit a more muted pink or even a sunset peach better. People tend to fall into two different camps, a warm and a cool undertone, and finding which one you are really helps to determine which colors will suit you best. So if you have a pinkish or bluish tint to your skin, then you'll best suit cooler colors. Think colors like light gray, pink, baby blue, and lavender. Whereas if you're more warm, try peaches, soft yellows, and browns. I will say feminine colors do tend to be softer and more muted in tone, so think less of a bright neon green and more of a calming sage. This idea of softness will translate into your makeup and your hair. You want your makeup to darken and redden your features. And when I say red, you don't actually have to wear a red lipstick, but use lipstick and blush to make your lips and cheeks more rosy. You can darken your eyes with sultry and soft eyeshadow, and definitely use mascara. Something about having movement, whether it is through gloss on your lips, having a French tip, or colorful nails, or even your eyelashes fluttering, all of this produces a very subtly flirtatious energy without you needing to be overtly flirty. So yeah, for feminine makeup, think soft and diffused. So if you normally wear sharper styles like winged eyeliner, try also adding shadow to give a more sultry, hazy effect. You're still wearing the same liner style, but the shadow adds a softness to your look. Your hair will tend to look most feminine when it's draped in a way, so it could be down or half down, but even updos can look really feminine when they have curtain bang or front pieces. The hairstyles that look less feminine are those that are very harsh or slick back. So like a slick back bun or completely slick back hair. Again, these aren't bad in any way. They're just a lot sharper and harsher, so they give you less of an open or warm look. The stereotype is that long hair is most feminine since it has the most movement and often looks the softest. But like I mentioned, style is kind of secondary to how you act. So you could have shorter hair but act really feminine, and you'll still come across as feminine, if that makes sense. I would just focus on hair that has some kind of movement when you move. In terms of hairstyle, curly or curled hair tends to look more feminine since it comes across as very approachable and friendly. Pin straight hair, which is my natural hair type, I think it can look stunning and will really flatter you, especially if you have a rounder or shorter face, but it leans more into this cool, sleek look that can sometimes seem less friendly. But yeah guys, like I said, I definitely want to do another video more dedicated to feminine style in general, since even if it is like the cherry on top and our mannerisms and behavior is what makes us most feminine, I always say that our clothing and personal style are great tools to really step into whatever persona that we want to embody, especially if we're not there 100% mentally. Whatever you can wear that still feels authentic to you is the most literal way of stepping into your future desired self, and I think does wonders in helping you see yourself in the mirror as the person that you want to become. Alright guys, that's all I have for you for this video. Like I mentioned, definitely check out my personal styling services. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I love doing a lot of style tips and fashion content on there. And yeah guys, if you like this video, definitely give it a like and subscribe. I'd love to have you here. But yeah, I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys!